Are you being gaslit? I know your pain. I'm going to talk about the 6 ways that manipulators gaslight and the 6 reactions that you should have. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. I'm America's relationship expert. I've been studying the science of love for 3 decades. But more importantly, I myself have survived many traumatic bonds, and I understand the pain you're going through when you're feeling gaslit. Now, let's explain what gaslighting is. It's basically making you doubt yourself, making you doubt your own version of reality. And there are some very specific manipulative tricks that gaslighters use when they're trying to do it to somebody. Now, I don't want to put gender on it, because there are women who gaslight men, there are men who gaslight women, people gaslight each other in same-sex relationships. However, it tends to be slightly more common in heterosexual relationships with a male manipulator and a female victim, and I'll explain why in a minute. So first of all, before I get into the 6 ways that these manipulators gaslight and the 6 things that you can say and do to get out of it, I want to explain how you got here. Why are you particularly vulnerable to their manipulations? It has to do with what happened early in your life when nobody gave you language for feelings, or they would say, just cheer up, or why are you making a big deal about it, or you're overreacting, or go to your room and come back when you have a better attitude. All these things that parents say to try to change children's behavior accidentally suppress children's feelings. So children don't know how to manage their feelings. They don't have a language for feelings. And so when someone else in adult life starts to tell them how they should feel, that sort of echoes back to what some of the adults might have done in their childhood. I want you to know none of this is any of your fault. In fact, here's what I do know about you. You're highly emotionally intelligent, and you're also very compassionate, and you're filled with empathy, because it's that empathy and compassion that the gaslighter capitalizes on to try to manipulate and control you. Okay, let's go through the 6 most common ways that somebody gaslights. The first is they bait you. They bait you either by love bombing at the beginning and making you seem like this is the best relationship ever and they really love you, or while they're giving you the negative behavior, they sprinkle in some positive reinforcement, some rewards. They do something nice out of the blue. They pay you compliments. So even though they've been doing negative things, they suddenly start acting nice to confuse your brain. The second way that people gaslight most commonly is they isolate you. They tell you that your friends don't really like you. They tell you that your friends are bad for you. I remember when I was being gaslit when I was in a traumatic bond. I remember my boyfriend would say to me, you know, your friends aren't really peer friends, they're just followers. And I wouldn't trust them because they just suck up to you. They're not really honest friends. That was his way of gaslighting me. Now the third way, which is kind of similar, is they weaken your support system. They actually are on their best performance behavior around the people you need the most, your very close friends and family. And what they do is they privately tell them that, you've been acting strange. You've been very unstable lately. And so that support system that you need to go to for care, when you go to them, they'll be like, maybe she's imagining this. He's so nice to us. It's a very common technique. They weaken your support system. Okay, the 4th way that people gaslight. They try to confuse you by making their actions not match their words. They say, but I love you, but we're a couple. You know I'll never leave you. And then they don't come home a few nights in a row, or you suspect they're cheating, or all kinds of things, but their actions never match their words. If someone tells you they love you, then their actions should reflect that. All right, the 5th way that gaslighters work their evil magic on their victims, they themselves play victim. So when you finally have the evidence, when you're finally able to get clear on what the reality of the situation is, you go and present it to them, and then they capitalize on your gene for empathy, your deep well of compassion. And they say, I'm sorry. It's because I had a bad childhood. Or it's not as easy for me, you know. They say these things. They give an Academy Award-winning performance. They say because they're a minority, because they weren't as educated, because they were brought up poor. They will find a million things for them to dig into your well of empathy and compassion. The sixth most common way that gaslighters gaslight their victims is they simply make you doubt yourself. You don't know what to feel. You don't know what to believe. You feel completely confused all the time. It is this confusion that they use as their weapon. Because you doubt yourself, they're able to tell you anything. And then they say, but I love you, remember? And your family thinks you're a little unstable too. And oh, those friends, they're not taking your calls anymore because the gaslighter has isolated you. If this sounds like your situation, I want you to know that you can get control back. You can get your sense of self back. Here are 6 things that you need to do to react to a gaslighter. Number 1, you need some space. You need some perspective. If your family or friends live in another state, go visit them. Take your kids, take a break. Get your brain in an entirely different environment so that you can assess from afar. Number 2, collect evidence, financial reports, cell phone bills, DMs on social media. You need hard evidence, not for them, but for yourself, so that you can become clear in your head. Number 3, once you're clear, stay confident and clear. Do not waver. Dig your heels in. They will come on strong, playing the victim, love bombing, making their actions not match their words. You have to stay strong. You took perspective, you got evidence, you're right now. And the 4th thing you need to do is take care of yourself. Practice self-care. This is not the time to be drinking alcohol, using drugs, staying up all night. This is the time to be eating healthfully, to be exercising, to be getting enough sleep. You need to care for you because you are going to battle, a mental battle, but your body needs to be strong for it. Number 5, this is how you react to a gaslighter. You get support. You tell everybody you can possibly tell. Friends, family, colleagues, you want to make sure that you're not alone in your perspective. They will reflect back to you and they will remind you when you weaken, they'll go, but yeah, remember the time he said or did that, right? You need people around you. And finally, the 6th and most important reaction that you can ever have if you are being gaslit, you need to get professional help. You need to reach out to a therapist. That therapist can help connect with the highest parts of your personality, the one that's strong, the one that has resolve, the one that is very clear about what the truth is, the one that's very clear about right or wrong. That person lives inside you, and that person needs to be enlivened. And with professional help, you can get there. Thanks so much for watching here on my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. You can follow me on all of my social media. The handle everywhere is @Dr. Wendy Walsh. But if you enjoyed this video, I want you to like it. Please put a comment below. Tell me what you're going through and make sure you subscribe. Thanks for being with me.